All right, so I'm back at it again today using this Z9 combination with the 400 f4.5, and I'm trying to shoot video at the same exact time with this Canon G70. So what I tried to do with this edit was splice in some photos of the video clips. This is the posing team, or visiting team, posing for a team shot. Kind of out of the wrong spot for that, I wasn't expecting that. So here they are posing, and here comes the stills of the same exact moment of them doing that and getting ready for the thing. So, I mean, what the hardest part, I think, is trying to get the camera, the video camera, to be at the same exact angle and or focal length as the prime lens I'm using. Because, you know, I've got Bogen super clamps, I've got, you know, all kinds of little monopod heads and stuff on it. So trying to get it to completely be at the same exact, pointed at the same exact direction and the same exact angle, because these things move while you're using it, as you'll probably see in a few minutes here. But this is just a different quality of the images. I mean, obviously the Nikon Z9 is a lot sharper. The video clips are, well, they're video clips from a prosumer camera, which I do really like. This is obviously the national anthem here, and I'm just panning and zooming, and you'll see when the images get kind of crazy and the camera gets all wild and starts moving around, that's when I'm not looking through the viewfinder of the Z9. When I'm looking through the viewfinder of the Z9, things kind of get more stabilized, and you can see some more stability with the video. But sometimes you'll see it, I've got to like move the monopod, and when I do that, you'll see a lot of you know, crazy movement. But I mean, it's a viable way, I think, to possibly do both things at the same exact time. I mean, some of these are all just kind of beginning of game stuff that I'm just trying to figure out the angles of the cameras and see what works and what doesn't work. So there were some pretty good collisions that happened here and there, and you can see it's kind of really interesting to see how quick they happen with the video. And then look at this here now. This is the stills of the same exact thing you just saw in video, and the stills, you know, it's hard to believe there's that many stills in that little moment that you see in the video clip, but the camera does do quite a few images all at once. So this one here was a pretty good collision as well. You can see, I mean, the video clip doesn't really show it, but the stills, it's kind of crazy how it slows it down, and you can see just total, you know, these kids are hanging all over each other here as they're, you know, trying to get to the ball. It's kind of funny. But, I mean, the quality of the G70 is good. I haven't actually done a lot with the video clips. They're basically raw right out of the camera. I mean, here's one here. That's the one you just saw the stills of, which is kind of nutty that there's so many stills in that instant of a play. I mean, the contrast and sharpness, this is that Nikon Prime 400 millimeter f4.5 Z lens or S lens, I'm not sure what they call it, that I picked up because I traded in my old 400-2.8, and I have not received the new one yet. I'm going to be 3 weeks without my 400-2.8 here, so I'm kind of missing it big time. So I picked up this other lens from Nikon. I think I did a separate video on that. But what I'll try and do is I'll try and work on some of these video clips, make them look a little bit sharper, and give them some more contrast. But yeah, I mean, I do think it's a viable way to do two things at the same exact instant. I mean, what you'll see here is some of these videos get pretty close because, like I said, I was trying to get the video camera zoomed out to 400 millimeters. So I'm not exactly sure how close I was. I mean, some of them seemed like they worked out pretty well, but it was kind of moving, or, you know, if you bump the clamps, then the angle of the camera would change up or down or side to side. I mean, I had everything pretty tight, but you know how tripods and monopods are, stuff kind of moves around here and there. So this is just some more, you know, it's amazing. I mean, I probably could make these stills a little bit. I mean, the stills are a lot sharper, obviously. I mean, I'm a still guy who's trying to branch out more into videos. I mean, back when I worked at the newspaper, I did video and stills, but I didn't do them at the same exact instant. Kind of did them separately, but now I'm trying to do them at the same exact moment, which is kind of fun. It's challenging. I will say the stills are probably suffering because I'm worried more about the video, because the stills I can do, I think, pretty much no problem. But trying to work these videos into it has proven to be the challenge. And worrying about what the video camera is doing, what the angle is, and how it's pointed, and is it working. And what I did is I had two thumbs going. I had a thumb in the back of the G70 resting on top of my super clamp. And then I had, obviously, my index finger was using the Z9. So it was kind of funny trying to remember which hand to use at once. Like, you know, oh wait, left thumb turns on the G70. Oh wait, left thumb turns off the G70. And trying to do that all at the same exact time was kind of funny. Now there's that same play where that girl gets kind of bowled over by the other one. I mean, it's really funny how the stills kind of slow it down and just capture it. But the video clips are so fast. So interesting observation, I guess you could say. I mean, some of these clips I probably could have gotten rid of, but I was just more interested in just seeing how it worked and how viable it was. I would probably suggest, if you do this, don't do this the whole game. Like, maybe do video for corner kicks, although the corner kicks are tough because they don't always fit in your lens well. So maybe be more selective about when you're going to do videos and when you're going to do stills. I think toward the end of the game I kind of just gave up on some of the stills that were too far away across the field. And the sun, of course, wasn't cooperating with me, but here it's kind of cloudy, so there's not as much contrast as there was at times. But it's one of those kind of overcast days, and then the sun would come out, then the clouds would show up, so it was kind of coming and going. And, of course, makes things fun. But, you know, I mean, that fast movement, obviously I was looking through the Z9 at that time, so the movement is kind of tracked better. But when it gets all wonky and you see the sky, and then here it's a little crooked, because I think my one shoulder might be bent. I'm not sure, but it was some good action. I mean, this is a good play here. You'll see how the stills kind of capture what's coming up here with this number 6 from the visiting school. I mean, it's amazing how many stills you can get in, like, what is that, a third of a second? It's pretty amazing, really. But this 400 f4.5, probably not my go-to sports lens. I mean, here the depth of field is pretty good because they're close enough to you. But once they get out past midfield, I mean, it gets kind of, I don't know. I mean, I've been shooting with long glass for a long time. And I've been shooting with 2.8 glass for a long time. So shooting with glass that's a 4.5, it's just different. Let's just leave it at that. But it's a viable option. It's a decent piece of glass. I bought the refurbished version. It was like $2,200. I don't think I would pay list price for it. That's for sure. I definitely wouldn't pay list price. So if you could pick one of these things up refurbished like I did, and then get a 20% off coupon, you can get it low $2,000, which isn't terrible. But I would not pay $3,200 for it. New, that's for sure. But it's a fine piece of glass, but the contrast is good, the image quality is good. I'm just not super thrilled with the depth of field. So supposedly the 400-2.8 will be back, or will be in stock, or will be available for me to pick up this week, the end of this week. So we'll see how that works out. Starting to have very little faith in this camera store that I bought this thing off of. I've never bought off them before. Never been there before. My first experience with them. I may not go back. I probably won't mention who it was. But I probably won't go back. But, you know, this is clear across the field right here. I don't usually even attempt that with the still camera because it's just too far away. So, I mean, here I did a few because I kind of felt guilty. They scored a goal and I missed it. But, you know, it's pretty far away. And there were lots of heat waves. At some point, the sun came out. It got kind of warmer. And you'll see a lot of heat waves in the video. And that kind of distorts your images when you shoot that far away. So, again, just, you know, it's too close. I mean, clearly you could zoom out with the video camera and get that whole person in this image. But then you've got to rejig it and figure out how to get it to be the same exact proportions that you're trying to duplicate with the still camera, which is that necessary? I don't know. I probably could shoot a little loose with the video camera and not have it be totally tight and just have it shoot looser. I think I've done that in the past, last year. But this year I was trying to mirror the 400mm with the video and the stills to see what happened, but the angles get a little funky. So, but hopefully, give me some thoughts, give me some tips on this. Maybe you've got a better way to do this than I do, because like I said, I'm just fooling around with this. It does make for a long edit, I will give you that. I mean, this is an awful lot of clips to look at, so I probably won't do this many clips again. Maybe a sport like cross country you could do this for, and you don't really have to worry about editing. You could just let it roll. If somebody wants to watch, you know, hundreds of people cross the finish line, you can do that. Maybe we'll do that in a few weeks. I have a giant college cross country match to shoot, or meet to shoot. Maybe I'll do that for that. And the last time I did, I tried to do the GoPro, which worked out fairly well. But the GoPro switched itself into time-lapse mode. I figured out how to stop that from happening, by the way. And everything was kind of time-lapsed. So that didn't work out as well as it could have. And then, of course, the battery went dead, because GoPro should be renamed cameras that go dead because the battery dies when you need it to be on and working. I cut down a tree over the weekend, and just as the tree came down, of course, the GoPro battery was dead. It was next to a building. I was using a rope and a snatch block and a pickup truck, and it was kind of a complicated process, and I was quite proud of myself. But of course, the GoPro that was next to the tree that I was cutting, the battery was dead, so there's no video footage of that. Fortunately, my wife did get some video of it with a different camera from, I was a 100-foot rope, so she was about 75 feet away, safely away from the chaos of the chainsaw and the falling tree. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're trying to figure out how viable of a solution this is. We're doing video and stills at the same time, and there's, you know, two instances right there with the same exact. It looks like the field of view is pretty close. I mean, I think I did pretty good as far as matching the zoom of the video camera to the focal length of the Z9 with the 400mm lens on it. A few times I might have switched into DX mode, which I have to stop doing. It's kind of a crutch, but I do see better at 600mm than I do at 400mm. But I think the angle, I think I succeeded fairly well in matching the focal lengths of the two lenses, or two cameras, at the same exact time. But in the contrast of this lens does look pretty good. I mean, I don't do much to images at all. I'm not a big post-process guy. I just kind of straighten them out, crop them, and that's usually about it. The exposures are pretty much what you see straight out of the camera, because I can't sit there and tinker. Now this is a goal. I shot this a little bit too wide. I'm not sure why that girl fell over right there. Hard to say, but the video camera was way too wide. I mean, and it barely fit into the Z9, so I figured I'd zoom out with the Canon G70 just to give it some context that it was a penalty kick. But the Z9 did a fine job here, obviously. I don't know if we can see why that one person fell over. I don't think so. Nope, we don't see why she fell over. I'm not sure. Maybe she thought the ball wasn't going to hit her. I don't know. But lots of penalty kicks in this game. I think the Post University scored 2 goals on penalty kicks. So they got lucky. Oh, look at this one here now. Look at all the stills of this play here. And that clip was like a split second. But the ball looks like it rolls right down this girl's forearm and everything else. And it's just it's like a million stills of it. But the video clip was like non-existent. It was like a split second. Pretty cool how there's so many still images you can extract from a moment in time like that. So kind of neat. I mean, I thought I was going to have more images to look at with the Z9, but basically what you do is you kind of just edit down to the best of the burst. So I thought I was going to be having like several hundred more images per game, but you really could just edit it down and just pick out the 1 or 2 in that burst of frames and just pick, you know, the keepers. Like this one here, this goal kick where the goalie made a save. I mean, there's a few good ones in here too. But again, it was such a quick moment in time that this happens. It's pretty hard to believe you can get that many stills from it, right? I mean, pretty neat. I mean, here's a video clip there. I think there might be some stills in that same one coming up. Let's see if I put some stills in there. I think there are. Yeah, here's another collision here where you wind up with a lot of stills from a clip of that. I mean, so when you lay on the Z9 and you hold that button down, you can in fact create quite a few images. And I don't shoot RAW, I shoot JPEG if anyone asks. I'm not a RAW guy. I do it sometimes and I regret it. I don't understand why. I mean, I just try and expose them well. And I think I was shooting on manual, and would, you know, when the sun would come out, I would adjust it. I mean, you can use the exposure compensation and you can use auto ISO and all that stuff, but these cameras still get confused. You know, bright orange to a camera is like white, so it underexposes, and dark green to a camera is like black, so then it overexposes. So when there's two play, now that's a nice still right there. I mean, the video clip probably doesn't produce that much detail, but that's a nice series right here. You know, somebody almost getting trampled and kicked in the head and stuff. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the number 10 on the ground. But let's see if this is the video clip, or did we see that already? Can't remember. Oh, we saw that already. So just another series running down the field, and I think you'll see a video clip of this one coming up here. I mean, that lens is sharp. I'm not knocking the lens. I'm just saying, as someone who's been shooting with 2.8 glass for 30 years, I prefer that to this 4.5, but I must say it's a lot lighter. I tried to do this contraption with the 300-2.8 or the 400-2.8 once, but it's a lot to hold. A monopod, a super clamp, a video camera, and a 400-2.8. Now this girl got injured. You know, do you shoot those? I guess you do. I don't know. You know, kind of feel bad when somebody gets injured, obviously. But I shoot those because, you know, when you worked in a newspaper, that could have been like the star player who got injured, so you would need to have something saying when that would have happened. So you kind of document it all, and that's what happened. So again, the contrast of this lens looks good. I mean, that purple that referee is wearing looks good to me. So thoughts on this process? Would you try it yourself? Have you ever done this yourself? Would you do this? Do you think it's a good idea? Bad idea? Waste of time? I do know it's a long edit. I will say that. So hopefully you guys watch this video, give me some likes, and give me some suggestions and comments, and some thumbs up, because this took an enormous amount of time to put together. So I probably won't do this many video clips in the future, especially now from something like soccer, where, you know, it's kind of moments. I mean, there's a goal by the visiting team right there, and here's another goal from across the field. And I don't think I shot many stills of this because, like I said, you see the heat waves in that video camera? Crazy, right? But it did get kind of warm. I think we're nearing the end here of this rather long video explaining what's going on here. So tell me again if this was too long or too short. Did you learn anything? Any good ideas, bad ideas? Now see, it was too close for that there because the video camera was too zoomed in. I mean, I could zoom out, but they just look weird, you know? I mean, there's a couple images of a header. There's some stills of this play coming up, I think, here too. But Z9, good camera, you know. I'm sure they'll come up with something else that'll be better. But I must say that for now, Z9 seems to be functional. I almost use the D500 today, the D850, or even the D3. I've been taking that out for spins lately too, but this was an experiment day, so I used the Z9. It would be interesting to see how many images you can get from the D3 coupled with this. So maybe we'll do that this week if I get a day where I have nothing super pressing to do. Maybe we will do that. But this game, obviously soccer, 2 45-minute periods. This is the end right here. So you can see how this is the end. They're celebrating. And then there's going to be some stills of that same exact moment coming up right here. And it's just interesting that, oh, I don't know what happened there. See what I mean? Sometimes when you repoint the camera, when I remove the monopod, that's when you see like the moon and the stars and the sky, and you might see airplanes. I like airplanes too. But there you go. So give me some thoughts on this. Good idea, bad idea, waste of time, not sure. Like I said, if I do it again, I'm probably going to do it differently. You know, here's the stills at the end of them celebrating the victory. It was 3-2. The home team won, which was Post University. And the visitors were Felician University. All right, thanks for watching, and talk to you later.